Hi, good morning, everybody. It is racing down at Kenilworth today on this Wednesday, the 13th of July. Hopefully it's lucky 13 for some, including us. Let's get straight into it. Just one scratching at the time of me recording, but that might be the last one because it's reasonably late-ish on a Wednesday morning. It's 8:30, so I would imagine that some of those scratchings, if there are going to be any, should have been through already. But let's get straight into it. There's an 8-race program. By the way, there will be a take a bet with tab insert going out. I'm also going to have a soccer shop.bet price booster. And of course, there's this preview as well. So a lot's going on this morning's coverage of the Kenilworth race meeting. So the first race will be of interest to bipod punters. Number 2, Country Time, is the even money favorite. Touch 9 to 10's gone out to even money. The interest, though, is clearly going to be in the first timer, number 6, Gift from Heaven. Now, Gift from Heaven is a daughter of Karari, but more significantly, it's the mother, of course, because halfway to heaven is the mother of Hawam, Rainbow Bridge, and Golden Ducat. So we know all about that family. It is absolutely prolific. Samanga Kamalo rides for the Eric Sands yard and owned, of course, by Mary Slack and Vilkabos Drift Stud. I doubt very much whether they were ever considering selling this bloodline because she is a filly, is Gift from Heaven. So let's be honest, if she's 1/10 of Hawam, Rainbow Bridge, or even perhaps Golden Ducat, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with here. There has been money from 4 to 1 to 5 to 2. Even if you're not having a bet, probably worthwhile having a look at her in the parade ring and seeing what she looks like. She is bred in the purple. But number 2, Country Time, does set a standard. And that's the first race. That's the level of interest there. Let's move on to race 2, shall we? And we've got the second race, which is going to be the first leg of the place accumulator. Well, Colloidal Gold was 28 to 10, been backed into 22 to 10. Is drawn 11. Probably not ideal. You'd prefer a lower draw, but she improved significantly at her second start. There doesn't seem to be too much form in the race. Number 7, Master Josh, is of interest. He's a Pomodoro. He also improved at his second start. He did have excuses, though. He moved up quite well and then choked up in the run. He already had the tongue tie on, so there's not much more they can do with that, I guess. But he's got some reasonably good form. I think there was one other that I perhaps was looking at from a PA perspective, but well, those are the 2 that jumped off the page. There doesn't seem to be any money for any first timers. Let's quickly check if there is any money. 2 and 7 do appear to set the standard. And you can perhaps take a chance in the PA with those 2. 11 run for me has drifted in the betting market. Okay, let's move on to race 3, shall we? We've got a maiden juvenile plate over 1,400 meters. And this race has number 1, Camford Lights, as the money horse. I did like him, actually, because he was drawn 3. His penultimate start, he cast a left 4 shoe. Otherwise, I think he might have finished closer. Subsequent to that, he ran in the Cape Fillies feature behind We're Jamming, who had won the nursery. So in terms of that field, it wasn't the worst run. So I think you've got to respect number 1, Camford Lights. Having said that, I like number 8, Scalini, quite a bit. He's a son of Pomodoro out of a trippy mare. He ran in that same race behind We're Jamming and finished in front of Camford Lights. He's also drawn 1 along the inside. He's got Samanga Kamalo on board, and I think he will run well. So to me, in this race, number 1, Camford Lights, and number 8, Scalini, with a slight preference for the latter. Teatro's got some form, so too has number 2, Heathcliff, but for me it's going to be 8 and 1 in that race. Let's move on to race 4. And in race 4, let's go on to that. This is a maiden juvenile fillies. I told you there are a lot of maidens and juvenile races today. Here, number 2, Dream Spinner, is scratched, so there's an update there. The betting, number 4, Echo of Life, is now the marginal favorite. This is a daughter of Master of My Fate, was backed heavily last time. Did improve, but didn't win the race. Ran from, or was shortened from 5 to 1 to 5 to 2. Alda de Meyer keeps faith, and she's got some fair form. And I think that well, I see already over the 1400, she's been prominent. So I don't think the trip's any problem. In fact, she probably would want a little bit more. The improver in the race, I'll get to number 1, Betty Boop, in a moment. I think the improver in the race could be number 5, Future Girl, who was 6th on debut in a race where Betty Boop finished 2nd. So on face value, number 1, Betty Boop, should beat number 5, Future Girl, again. But Future Girl is a daughter of Futura, so the extra 200 from a 2 draw with Louis and Cotter on board, I think is definitely going to be in her favor. She's beautifully related. She's owned by Gaynor Rupert and the Drakenstein stud who bred her. She's got a Drakenstein pedigree all over. She's a daughter of Futura, as I say, out of a trippy mare. So I think that could be some improvement. Number 5, Future Girl. But number 1, Betty Boop, does set a standard there, 5th on debut, and then 3rd, and improved to run 2nd last time. The negative with her, small negative, but she's got a 9 draw to overcome, whereas number 5, Future Girl, is drawn 2, and 4, Echo of Life, is drawn 3. So for me in that race, I'm going in order of preference 4, 5, and 1. Those are the 3 runners that I'm looking at. Just looking at the bottom, number 10, Ponte Vecchio, is a Rafif filly who's been tickled up a little bit. Now she's got some fair form. The blinker's been taken off. And the only other runner, number 11, Say Yes, improved nicely for Suzette and Barcy for Union last time. She, on the other hand, though, does have an 11 draw. So Betty Boop drawn 9 and Say Yes drawn 11, which is why I'm going 4, 5, and 1 in that race. Let's move on to race 5. Interesting race. This is the hybrid stakes race. I'm going to go through the whole field quickly, give them all a mention, because I think it's that kind of a race. Number 1, Captain of Self. Well, when he won at his penultimate start, he drifted in the betting, but I actually labeled him and he won very nicely. I was surprised he drifted and he won well. Last time out, oddly enough, I liked, and as you know, tipped Rocking Ringo to win, who also won. So far, I've read Captain of Stealth pretty well. I think today, though, he's going to be competitive back to the 1400, and I certainly wouldn't put you off going for him in the exotics, PAs, etc. That's number 1, Captain of Stealth. He's going to go well with Smunger on board from a 2 draw. 2, Speed Machine. I've done a take a bet jackpot today. I was going to leave him out, but then they put the blinkers on, and I thought, well, on some of his best form, if you go and have a look, he beat My Bestie quite comfortably when last they met, and he's got the blinkers on, and Grant Fanico gone. He's probably not my first choice, but I'm going to put him in as a safety measure, number 2, Speed Machine. 3, 7th Gear is pretty consistent, but I think off 59.5 kilograms, he might find 1 or 2 that are a little bit better handicapped than him here. So 3, 7th Gear, not without a chance, but he's not for me. 4, Rocking Ringo. Well, as you all know, I labeled him at 16 to 1 when he won at the penultimate start. He's not 16 to 1 here. He's 7 to 1, but he's got to have a chance again. He's drawn 1. He's as honest as the day is long. And Louis Cotre is back on board. It was one of the reasons why I liked him when I tipped him at his penultimate start, because at that stage, Louis had won 6 times on him. He's now won 7 times on him. It's unbelievable, the relationship that they have. And I think I mentioned the story when Rocking Ringo sees him in the parade ring that day, he's going to say, oh, look who's back on board me, and I'll deliver. And that's what happened. Same thing's going to happen today, isn't it? Louis Cotre was going to get aboard him in the parade ring. So leave him out at your peril. Number 4, Rocking Ringo. Lovely horse, and as I say, very honest. 5, World's Your Oyster is my roughie in the race, actually. He is the biggest outsider, but I think he's capable. He's going 1400. He hasn't, he's actually ran over the 1400 once. I'm not sure how he did. He didn't run the first 4. But I think that he's now 5, and he might be looking for the extra 200. So, as I say, I think on some of his best form with Greg Sheen, who gets on very well with him, he's won 3 times on him. There are worse 16 to 1 shots on the card than number 5, World's Your Oyster. So he would certainly be in my trifecta. 6, My Bestie. Well, he's only got 57. He's pretty consistent. He seldom runs a bad race, so not without a shout. But again, he's not my first choice. And then the horse that is on my radar is number 7, Hyde Park. I think he's very well in off 56.5 kilograms. He's drawn 4, He comes out on a lot of my handicapping pretty well. So he is certainly going to go into my trifecta play. So that's this race. Very nice race to watch, even if you're not having a bet. If you were to tie me down to a 1, 2, 3, 4, I would go 1 Captain of Stealth, 4 Rocking Ringo, 7 Hyde Park, and as I say, my roughie, because it's 16 to 1, number 5 World's Your Oyster. Let's move on to race 6. Well, this is a fillies and mares 79 handicap. It's not a particularly nice race. Crackling Rose is quite expensive to follow. When last did she win? She was only won once, and that was a maiden on the 23rd of October. She's been expensive to follow. Last time, she ran pretty well. She was just pipped by Treasure Hunter the last 2. She's got Keegan back on board. I suppose it's maybe a bit unfair to say she's been expensive to follow because she wasn't always short priced. She is certainly overdue. But my question that I wrote here, does she shirk it? I mean, I find it quite interesting. She's only a one-time winner. If she doesn't get it right today, she's going to certainly go down as a disappointment. She's 16 to 10. I don't think, well, she's 14 to 10 now. I'm not so sure she offers great value, although she's got so much going for her. Keegan de Mela, Candice Bass-Robinson, drawn 1 and solid 4. But in the nagging back of my mind is that she's only a one-time winner and she's had 11 starts, or this is a 12th start. But I suppose she sets the standard. But I am looking for value elsewhere. I thought number 1, Fearless Trip, would go quite nicely with Smunga Kumalo from a 2 draw. Blinkers are off, which is interesting. But she steps up to 1400 here. And from a 2 draw, Smunga riding at the top of his game yesterday. The last race at the Val yesterday, one with Chasing Mavericks. And I think you've got to respect Smunga and a 2 draw. 2 Forries Forever. I've always liked this filly. She's beautifully bred. She's run in the Western Cape Fillies Classic and in 87 and a 92 merit rated handicap. Here is a 79. So she has dropped in class considerably, and she's got Aldo on board. So again, number 2 Forries Forever, I think, is not without a shout. The other horses in the race, well, 3 Belle Rouge has got the Alamites in front have been taken off. She's got a chance, but maybe 57.5 from an 8 draw is her negative. Do I want to mention anything else? Well, I've got a bit wider in the Take a Bet jackpot, but that's only because it's a fillies and mares race. But my selections here, I think the value might lie in the 1 and the 2. 1 Fearless Trip and 2 Forries Forever. But obviously one has to respect number 5, Crackling Rose. I would not be surprised if she won. I just don't know if 14 to 10 is particularly good value. Let's move on to race 7. And this is a interesting race, World Sports Betting Allowance Stakes, Fillies and Mares Sprint. Spent a lot of time studying this. I think number 5, Different Face, comes in to this race with quite a good chance. On multiple lines, it looks quite well in. Craig Zaki rides, dropped down from a 91 to an 80. Not that this is a handicap, but it just gives you some indication of what she was capable of earlier on. So if you have a look, for example, Sonic Burst, who runs here, when she ran to Sonic Burst on the 3rd of November, she finished 2 lengths behind Sonic Burst. She's now 6 lengths better off. And Sonic Burst is 9 to 2 and not without a shout. And you're getting 6 to 1 on Different Face. So I think Different Face is a run. I think it's the first run for Eric Sands. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. It might need to run in the new stable, but it might also be the change in scenery that she's looking for. So 5 Different Face for me offers some value. Sure. Oh, yeah, offers some value. It's been a long night of studying. Where else? Well, number 3, Mar Black, is 18 to 10. Pretty similar, I think, to my comments in the same race. I respect her enormously, but 18 to 10 in a very competitive fillies and mares sprint. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if she won well. Again, when she does win, she wins very, very well with the authority, and she's drawn 1. But I do get the feeling that there might be a little bit of each way value elsewhere. Number 4, Twilight Hour, is the daughter of Verson Getrix. Keegan de Melo rides. Interesting that Craig Zaki is on the Sands horse and Keegan de Mello is on Adam Marcus's horse. So Adam Marcus got 2 runners in the race. The other one is number 1, Brianna, who is actually best weighted according to the best weighted column. Brianna best weighted, Sonic Burst second on that column, and only then Mar Black. But I think the race does run deeper. I'm also going to mention number 7, Seeking Peace, who has blinkers on and is drawn okay at 4. Again, if you go back to a Mar Black run on the 3rd of November last year, Seeking Peace is 4 kilograms down and Mar Black is half a kilogram up. So it's a 4.5 kilogram swing for a 2.7 length beating. So strictly on weights, that would give number 7 Seeking Peace at the very least an upset opportunity. So, and I like the booking of Louis Cotra, and I like the blinkers going on. So number 7 Seeking Peace for me is nice value at 12-1. So if you're getting my drift here, similar to the last race, I wouldn't be surprised if Mar Black won well, but at 18-10, when you've got 12-1 about Seeking Peace and 6-1 about Different Face and 7-1 about Twilight Hour, I'm always looking for value. I might be wrong, but that's kind of where I'm leaning in that race. And let's get on to the last race, which sums up the card. It's Trappy because it's not a maiden. Yesterday we saw the race, the last race go off. And as you know, if you listen to my preview, I liked a bit of number 3 in the last race. I told Nick I liked number 3. It very nearly got up to win because it was a handicap. It got beaten in the end by James Crawford's number 1 under a very good ride from Smanga Kamalo, but it certainly was a competitive race. And I suspect that this will be competitive again because it's a special maiden weights maiden. Number 1, Spirit of Silvana, clearly sets a standard, but he is carrying 60 kilograms, which I believe makes him vulnerable to some other horses, i.e. number 3, Run Rudolph Run, who gets 3 kilograms from him, 4 Electric Warrior, who gets 4 kilograms from him, and then the 2 Vaughan Marshall runners who are also receiving 4 kilograms, number 5, Keep Shining, and number 6, Twice the Master. So if you treat this as a special weights race, not a maiden, then you've got to go have a look at the handicapping in the race, in inverted commas, and you'll see, for example, that Run Rudolph Run, Keep Shining, Twice the Master, they all come in pretty well with Spirit of Savannah, certainly on the 20th of April run, and more recently on the 18th of May run. So I'm looking a bit deeper here. My 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a chance with number 4, Electric Warrior at 5-1. Again, Smunga's got some nice rides today. I think he's riding really well. He didn't do me a turn yesterday because I backed the 16-1, 20-1 as it turned out to be, outsider in the last that ran second. But I think he's in excellent form. And I think that number 4, Electric Warrior, could offer some value at 5-1. So that's my take in the last race. It's a special weights maiden. Bear that in mind. Spirit of Silvano, effectively, I'm going to try and beat in the last. Okay, that is the story for today's racing. There's a lot to do today. There's a take a bet. There's also a price booster that's got to be put in. So we will do that during the course of the day. I think that the exotic today might be the place accumulator or that first jackpot or even the second jackpot. So you can have a look and see what we've done with Tab. But break a leg, everybody, racing down at Kenilworth. Nice racing. And we'll look out for Rainbow Bridge Hawam's sister running in the first race. Even if you don't have a bet, it'll be interesting to see how she goes and what she looks like, because what a family that is. So thanks for watching. Have a good day's racing. Bye-bye.